Hey guys. Okie dokie. So this review or just informational video is about Bluetooth devices and what I've gone through, or I should say what I've used. And there's some things here I've used and gotten rid of that aren't displayed because I got rid of them. But these are the things that have stayed in my stable, so to speak, and will continue to do so, I think. These two, of course, are DAPS. This is the aptX80, and this is the Shanling M6 Pro. I put them there because I use those a lot with Bluetooth devices, and sometimes I connected those through Bluetooth. Either way, I just put them out there because those are the devices that I typically use. This is the Ear Studio, the ES100. You guys have probably seen this before. It's very small, and the thing that really separates this from others is it's so light. This thing, look, do I have a, tell you what, here's some keys. There's some keys. You see how big that key is, right? This is a tile. You know what a tile is, right? The tracking device. Look at this thing next to those keys in that tile. It's like, it's as long, this key is longer than that. This is a standard house key, and that key is longer than that device. Sure hope my neighbor's dog stops barking. That device is so tiny. I mean, the thing is, it feels like there's not even a battery in it. It feels hollow. It's all plastic, I think. It looks like, you know, plastic made to look like metal, but it's all hollow, and it feels like nothing. But it has a pretty decent sound. It tends to be analytical and dry. But the thing about the Ear Studio is they've got a pretty nice app, and you can really kind of tune and modify the sound that comes out of it. I really like this. I've used it many times. It's just not a go-to thing for me. Again, it's a little dry, and it's just not, you know, I don't like to always fiddle with EQ settings and whatnot. So on to the next one is, everyone knows this, it's the FiiO BTR5. This thing was hyped like crazy for a long time, and it's a great device. I mean, it is so small and elegant looking. It comes with this nice clip-on case. I mean, this totally should have been hyped, right? The price was very low. It has the 2.5 and 3.5 connections, so balanced and single-ended. Connects to everything, no problem. It has a mic built into it. So does the Ear Studio. These all do, actually. And I've tested them all in phone calls and stuff to see how they would work out. The BTR5 is very small. The thing about it, and for me, and this is where I differ from some other reviewers, I guess, is that although I really liked it, I don't find myself like going, oh, I want to go listen to that BTR5. You know, it's great. It sounds good. It just, there's something that's just not completely there for me. It feels like a little bit veiled sometimes, the music. I don't get the same resolution I do out of some of these others. And I just don't like it as much. It's just not something I gravitate towards, but I like to keep it around so I can compare it, because I know it's a baseline for me. I know what it sounds like and how good it is, right? This is the Shanling UP4, and I really love the Shanling sound signature. And, you know, all these devices, the thing you should understand is there's going to be people, and I've heard reviewers say, well, all DACs are the same, or all amps, you know, it's all so close together, you know, there's no real difference, and just, you know, what's the sense of having so many out there in the market? But the truth is, every house like FiiO, Estelle and Kern, Shanling, Ear Studio, and many others, they all have their own tuning that they do to get their particular sound. And you can see that if you go into the EQ settings of any of these, you're listening to a song, turn the EQ on, and even though it's completely flat on the EQ settings, you're going to hear a very different sound with the EQ flattened out than you do with the EQ off, because all of these have been tuned by their engineers to sound a certain way. And that's great, you know, because that gives us different sound signatures to play around with in the market. I don't like playing around with EQ settings too much. Once in a while I'll do it, but it's pretty rare. It's got to sound the way it sounds. Let me say that right. It's got to sound a way that I like it, just straight out of the gate for me, because I don't want to mess around with it. I just want to plug it in and use it, right? The Shanling UP4, much like the Shanling M6 Pro, has a really nice sound signature to it. I feel like the bass isn't that strong on this guy, and it won't drive some of my bigger, like it won't drive my vocal clears that well. I feel like they're underpowered when I'm listening to them, and they're not hard to drive, but for some reason they feel like there's something missing when I use this. But with headphones, this sounds very, very good. I like the signature overall better than the BTR5. I think the BTR5 feels like it can drive things a little bit better to me, like more power, but this Shanling UP4, again, comes with its own little case, clip-on thing like the BTR5. And I enjoy this device because I like the Shanling products. Now, BTR7. This is the thing that BTR7 did for me. All these devices are Bluetooth. So if you read up or study Bluetooth codecs at all, right, there's many of them, LDAC, aptX, some others. They all have different ways that they deal with sound and compressing it. A Bluetooth codec will read the file that's on the disk that's being fed to it, right? The packets come in to the protocol. The protocol compresses that data using a type of compression for music, compresses that data, sends it over the airwave to the device that's receiving it. That device that's receiving it uses the same codec on the other side and decompresses it. When you compress and decompress any file, doesn't matter what it is, any file, data is lost. I wouldn't say any file. Okay, so like a text file, something like that, you're not going to lose data typically, right? Image files, you can. Image files can get grainier and can lose resolution. It depends on how they're compressed. Audio files, for sure, because of the amount of data in them and the way that it's created, audio files will lose sound quality when they're compressed and then decompressed. It's just a fact. There's just no way around that. Now, how much of the quality will you even hear it? Was it something the human ear can discern? You know, that's up for debate. I do feel like when I listen to these devices up here on the top here over Bluetooth, that's not the same as when I'm plugged directly into like the M6 Pro or the aptX or any of the other DAPs that I've listened to, right? Or into a device like the RME or my FiiO, that's the ES9 Saber. This guy here killed that. It like got rid of that problem for me. And I heard it first, I connected to it with my iPhone and I thought, you know, let's try it on the iPhone first, right? Because it's AAC files, it's fine. And I was stunned at how it sounded. And it was over I can't even remember the first IEMs I listened to it over, but I was kind of stunned. I was like, wow, this is not what I expected. So then I connected to my M6 Pro and I listened to the Moondrop variations, and I was blown away by the resolution. In fact, I put this device like this, and I had the Moondrop variations plugged in here, and I unplugged them and I plugged them here, and of course adjusted the volume a little bit because it changes a little. And until I got it right, where I didn't have to do that. I plug it here and I couldn't hear the difference. As far as, when I say I couldn't hear the difference, let's get this straight. There's a difference, but I could not hear a difference in the resolution. In other words, when I listened to that song by, it's on the Truth About Charlie album called De Cara El Pared, there's raindrops and water hitting puddles in the very beginning of the song. And there's footsteps that start splashing in that water and you can hear it. And depending on what you're listening with, it sounds very much like water, and you can hear the foot step into the water. You can hear the raindrops hitting the tin roof. You can hear this great detail. And in other things, you can kind of know that's what it is, but you can't hear the real detail. And even further, some things I've listened to, I can hear the raindrops, but I don't hear the feet splashing. or the foot or shoe going into the water. With this to this, I could not miss a single thing in resolution. Everything I heard here, I heard here. So, and that happened with every song I tested. There was not a song I tested where there was something I could hear on the M6 Pro that I could not hear here on the BTR7 resolution-wise, right? I could hear all the details the same. Now, sound signature. The BTR7 is a very different sound signature than the FiiO M11 Pro, than the BTR5, and even the ESS it's got a different sound signature than that. It's like whoever tuned this must have been a different department, and they hired someone new. I don't know what the deal is, but this thing has fantastic sound reproduction. In my book, I listen to this now. In fact, now what I do is if I use this device, which I don't use it as much now, the M6 Pro, because this little guy, this aptX, connects Bluetooth to here on aptX protocol, which is the one that I actually prefer. It's a little bit better latency, and the resolution is really good. So I will connect this guy because it's got a nice big interface that I can easily see, and I can play music from here and just have this in my hand, and this is just in my pocket with my IEMs in my ear. And that's the other thing, not just IEMs. So listening to this, the timbre was better on this device. Not a huge amount, but better than it is on the M6 Pro. The timbre is better. And I got to tell you, I'm not enough of a sound engineer guy to know why that is. I don't know if something to do with the way they tune this, with the way they time the packets as they're released, with the way the analog circuit decodes it, or the digital to analog circuit's decoding. I don't know what it is that makes the timbre on this so excellent, right? I don't know, but it is, and it's so much better than these three devices. I could throw these away right now and it wouldn't even bother me one bit. This thing is, in fact, if this is all I had, I'd be totally happy. I could keep doing reviews on different IEMs and stuff, knowing that I'm getting all the resolution I need and timbre and all the aspects that I look for in a portable digital audio device. This BTR7 delivers all of it. And end of story. There's just no two ways about it. As far as power goes, I plugged my focal clears into this. And this is when I first realized, but it was before the variations, I first realized the timbre and how good the signature was on this. I plugged in the focal clears and I really was only halfway in the volume on this guy, and it was on low gain. I didn't need it to go any louder than that. And that was very, very loud. And I was connected to the M6 Pro, and the timbre was stunning. Like piano on Diana Krall, the album I mentioned, I think with the variations, I think it's called this Dream of You. I like that album. Her voice is very, like, when they recorded it, they recorded that microphone super close to her mouth. I could hear her tongue like smacking on her lips while she's singing. I could hear her, like, you know, that crackly sound that happens, and I could hear that deep smoothness in the tenor on her voice, and then drumsticks and piano keys and bass strings and guitar playing. Everything I listen to sounds good on this. Like I said, timbre. I keep going back to that word because when timbre is good and the overall tonality is good, and it can meet the resolution needs of the mid bass and the upper mids, the upper mid bass, the upper treble, the bass is tight and clean. When it can do that and there's timbre on top, there's a realism that occurs in, you feel like you're right there. You feel like you could see them playing it, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to go, what was that instrument they just used? You know it because you can see it in your mind's eye, like how it is, right? And when I have that kind of resolution that an image is created in my brain, that's when I know I'm onto something good. And it's not something that happens often. I'm going to say in the last year, there isn't anything as I've listened to that I got that I was like, oh, wow. The Kinera Nanas were close. They're very, very good. And they have great timbre. And there's some IEMs in the past I've listened to that have great timbre, but they always had something missing. Like the bass wasn't that great. The upper mids weren't that great or something, you know. But with this guy here on the on every IEM I've listened to on it, I've listened to several now, the Monarchs, the Kineras that sound great on this. The variations in this pair together so good, better than the other IEMs, I think. And my focal clears sound fantastic with this guy. I wish I could, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It comes with this, it has this case, comes with the USB cable. I keep it in this case all the time. It's got, I know I've heard one reviewer complain about the menu and how the menu is a Bluetooth device. You know, I don't give a crap about that. The menu doesn't mean much to me. I turn it on, like, okay, first button, press it in, hold it down, and it gives you this menu right here. And then you can scroll up and down that menu with this guy right here. You know, I haven't played with any of the settings in this thing because I don't care. The filters, you know, filters are in every USB device out there, every DAC. They mean nothing. I've listened to filters, listened so carefully, I can never hear a difference between filters. I don't know if anyone can. And if someone tells you they are, either they're lying to you or they've tricked their own mind into believing that they can do that. I don't know. So, but basically what I'm saying is this. I don't ever play with the menu in this. I just see that it's connected. I may change the Bluetooth codec. I have done that like I did over here. I went in and changed the Bluetooth codec. The nice thing about it was this. When I changed the Bluetooth codec here to aptX, it immediately changed here to aptX after it was connected. So it connected with LDAC, which you may have seen. But as soon as I go in here and change to aptX or I start playing something, this one flips and says aptX. So I don't even have to do anything here with the menu. I can control it from whatever device I'm using. Yeah, so I guess I can ramble on more and more about this thing, but you know, basically it's this. You have my word. You cannot go wrong with this device right here. And you could go, so I did use, do I have it down here? I have this FiiO, I think this is, what is this? M6 Pro or something? I don't know, maybe it was the M6 Pro, I'm not 100% sure. I was using this with another device, my Monolith portable THX amp, and it worked great with that. This one also works great with that, but this one sounds better just on its own. So this one's okay, but I do find that the USB and the Bluetooth, it didn't have the same sound quality as I did with some of the other ones. And I can't tell you exactly why that is. Maybe it's just the way that this decodes or compresses. I would say this is compressing and this is decoding. And maybe what this is sending is just not, you know, resolute enough to, that this guy just can't pull any more detail out of it. But yeah, that's off to the side. I don't even know why I brought that up. This is an excellent Bluetooth DAC, my favorite Bluetooth DAC. All my other Bluetooth DACs out of the picture now. I can use my M6 Pro, I can use my iPhone, I can use the aptX80, anything that connects Bluetooth to this that's got a good codec and, you know, is well made. I don't know, well made, but anyway, can deliver the packets correctly to this guy so it can be decoded and you know, that kind of thing. Can play FLAC files. Is going to sound good, I think, with this. Because even my phone sometimes, and I don't like to use the phone because it's just AAC files, but I got to tell you, even those AAC files sound fantastic on that little BTR7. So that's another thing I love about it. Whenever I listen to music, I don't like to listen to my music on devices that don't deliver the quality that I like, because I know now what it should sound like. So when I hear it on other stuff, I'm like, eh. But with my phone, which I usually never use because of that reason, now when I listen to AAC files, they sound good in this, which again has to do with the way they tuned it. The engineers that were tuning the sound when they were getting this ready, the baseline sound that it puts out, those guys knew what they were doing, man, because this thing sounds great. So this is a definite buy. FiiO didn't send this to me. I paid my own money for it. I am keeping this for sure. This is one of those devices I almost feel like I need to buy a second one in case the battery goes bad or something else and they're not making it anymore, because man, I would hate to not have this one around anymore because the sound quality is kind of unbeatable. All right, well, that's enough on the BTR7. I hope this review helps you out and I didn't ramble too much. Thanks for watching and have a great day.